These are being perpetrated on a daily basis, particularly on our elderly. And I think everyone at this discussion could say that a couple of reasons why the elderly are targeted. They are still banking. Maybe the millennials don't bank the way. I think most of the millennials do their banking now. I know my nieces and nephews do everything off of their phones, but folks like my mom, who are 92, they go to the bank, and they have their life savings. They have some assets. They may own real estate. So they're also kind of trusting if somebody calls and they say they're calling on behalf of our veterans or a benevolent association for police. They can also get a little bit scared if they get a call from a loved one that pulls at their heartstrings. So for a whole host of reasons, sadly, our senior population make good targets for these professional scam artists. These scammers are professionals. I just got a call, I can show you on one of my phones. It had a +7 number and it came in from Russia. That's where the phone came. I have friends in the Chinese government that I didn't know about. I get a call from the consulate almost on a daily basis. So these are pros. They do not stop with the calls. The do not call list is excellent, but our friends in the state and federal government want to know if you're still getting those calls and you're on the do not call list. They need to get that feedback. So do your local police chiefs, so that they can partner with us and try to put an end to it. I think that what we need to do is empower our senior population and let them know that they play a critical role as kind of first reporters, if you will. My office, the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office, goes out to the councils on aging. Tom has been good enough to have us out in Quincy, and what we do is we educate folks. We bring out Joe Canavan from our office and Cheryl Bambury, and we talk to the seniors about all the scams that are currently going on, and then we try to empower them by giving them all the information that's available from state and federal government and what to look for. There's usually one telltale factor when it's a scam, and that's a sense of urgency. You've got to act now. That makes people panic. It makes everybody panic, but particularly folks like my mom who are 92, if they get a phone call and it says a granddaughter was traveling in Mexico and she's been arrested, or she's in a hospital and she's sick, there's no time. They think, the victim thinks, I've got to act now. I've got to get them the money. I can't get out to the bank, but I can tell them my routing number and checking account. So for a whole host of reasons, they've found the population that they want to target. And I think our job, our duty collectively, and thanks again to the Ledger for putting this on, is to get out there and engage our elderly population, our seniors, and get them talking and sharing best practices and tips on how to avoid these scams. So I'll share with you one cute tactic that a woman told me in Norwood. She said, I kept getting these phone calls from somebody who's pressuring me to put solar panels on my roof. And I told them numerous times I would prefer them not to call me again. So she had a whistle in the house. And the next time the number came up, she saw it on caller ID. She picked it up and she blew the whistle. She said they never called again. So those kinds of discussions, though, I think it empowers our seniors when they get together in that kind of a forum. And one of the most recent and frightening ones happened to my colleague Peter Katusian in Middlesex, the Middlesex Sheriff. It was a call to say to a senior, you've missed jury duty and you will be arrested unless you pay a fine. And I believe it was, I want to get the dollar amount, it was kind of staggering. And of course, it was the sense of urgency and the threat. So if it's a loved one that's being held hostage in Mexico, there's the threat, and you have to send money and it's urgent. This one was an urgency, and the local resident was told that they needed to pay a $900 fine immediately, so there's a sense of urgency, or else you'll be arrested. So there's the threat, and people panic. I think we'd all panic if somebody told you you're about to be arrested. But they're calling seniors and telling them they misplaced their jury duty mail, they failed to show up, and they sound very official. So thank goodness, again, using local newspapers and radio, Middlesex Sheriff's Office got this out.